Hey, welcome back to the Vault of Cult, your favourite movie podcast with Chris, your host, and...
Mark, as always, you alright?
I'm alright, I hope the listeners are alright as usual.
They will be alright.
Yeah, I think so. So guys, we've got another special, we're pumping these specials out.
I know, yeah, we don't fanny about with these specials.
So, we're doing a special, guys, on, what's it on, Mark?
Well, it's on the state of cinema as we find it now in the year of our Lord, 2023 AD.
Yeah, we just think it's really interesting with what is currently churned out by the handful of studios that exist.
Yeah, they're all five of them.
Yeah, you know, obviously very franchisey, very big budget or very small budget. Obviously the strikes are going on, very topical.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we do this, essentially, that we discuss this, because we find ourselves in a very particular moment in time for the art form of motion
the
pictures.
The future of...
Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot...
Of the talkies.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about the talkies, isn't there?
There is. And talking about that...
Yeah.
Should we get into the dive and enjoy?
Yeah, let's do it. So
enjoy the ride.
You know, enjoy, get educated. Let's learn together.
Listen, guys. You know, this is what this podcast is about. It's about informing, educating.
All right, it's not BBC News.
No,
Thank
it's not.
you.
No.
We are here to inform, to educate, to entertain.
This is
BBC News.
This is the Vault of Cult mantra.
Yeah.
So, guys, thanks for listening again. Get us on the socials. We're on at the Vault of Cult on Instagram and thevaultofcult@gmail.com. You know, reach out, give us some suggestions, give us some feedback. We know you're listening.
And this would be a really good one for you to give us ideas. What do you think of, say, Disney? What do you think of Universal? What and the crap or good that they're put?
You know, you might enjoy it.
Out. You might like it.
You might like what's going on in the world in the world of cinema. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's do it.
So, guys, this special episode is all about the state of cinema, as we've just established. And I'm going to get our Mark to lead us in and get us at a starting point and see where we go.
So, let's just give him a bit of backstory as to why we thought that this were an important thing. And what really got me... the gears in the old noggin, turning about it, were essentially the strikes that are all happening over actors' pay and actors...
Well, I mean, this has been a seed you've had for a while of a show you wanted to do.
But it really made me think, no, let's do it now, because we were... You're right, we have been thinking about it for a while. And we were gonna, if you remember, do a deep dive on one particular studio and then another particular studio.
Do a series of specials focusing on a particular studio.
Yeah, but what made me think was when the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of America decided to go on strike, why don't we discuss the state of cinema itself? Now, just... a word of warning, we're not generally speaking about television.
No.
Here, we're talking about the movies. We're talking Hollywood, big screen.
Not the British film industry. Not world cinema. We're just focusing on Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest output of films, obviously.
And the reason the strikes got me thinking about it, because when you read into their demands, essentially quite a lot of it, I think, comes down to how the studios are structured, what their output is, and what they're wanting to do in the future. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the essence of what the Screen Actors Guild are pushing against, because these companies, with there only being 5 of them essentially, and being so incredibly dominant in the market, these big studios can essentially force the little guys to do what they want when they want it.
Yeah, of course.
And so that made me think. So let's have a think about these big companies and what they're churning out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it's very important that we do that. Especially because, let's be honest, we are film buffs, and all our listeners will be film buffs, and you'll all have opinions.
And which we're interested to hear.
Yeah, exactly. So So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the 5 major studios. Well, studios is the wrong word. It's sort of like the big 5 corporations that control each of the studios.
So there's our first in.
Yeah. So what they are rather, is the Walt Disney Company. Right.
Which everybody knows.
Actually. Oh. I'll start again. I'll start in ascending order of amount of money that they've got.
Revenue. Is this per annum?
No, I've merely put for the total. Year 2022.
Oh, come on.
The revenue that they earn. Go on. Right. Worst in class, lowest in class of the amount of money that they earned was Sony Pictures.
Not a fucking surprise.
Not surprised. They earned in the year 2022. They might as well have. In terms of filmmaking money, they made Tuppence Halfpenny and a Dead Frog is what they made. They got 7.9 billion. Right. It's when we get a little bit higher up on this list, it's no money. It's nothing.
Yeah.
However, skin. Brassic, them lads, Brassic. These Japanese lads are like, oh no, I got no money. Like, however, a word of caution to that. They are, of course, part of the massive Sony, where obviously the main bit of the business of Sony is in personal devices, i.e. in PlayStation, and of course in gaming.
Yeah.
And so the Sony Group Corporation, in fact, made 11 trillion yen. Whatever that is in real money.
Get in touch, listeners. Please convert these.
Whatever 11 trillion is. So
it sounds a lot.
It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But who knows? Who knows?
We don't know.
But should have looked into that.
Should have, actually.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. We didn't bother.
Oh well.
But yes. But in terms of what Sony Pictures made, only 7.9 billion. Then we have
in profit or turnover.
No, that is gross revenue. So out of that, they've got to pay every bugger's wages
and
do all of that production costs.
So let's keep that in mind as we go along.
Tuppence Halfpenny.
For American listeners, that's a really old currency we used to use.
It's pre-decimal British currency.
That's the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah, 1970s we decimalised it. Yeah, fun facts there for you listeners.
I'm always giving them.
The next earner is Paramount Global, which is owned by a massive corporation by called National Amusements, and then partially owned by Viacom.
National Amusements used to own a very large chain of cinemas in the UK called Showcase Cinemas.
Showcase, yeah.
Dead now.
And they've totally dead. But yeah, they sort of partially own Paramount Global. Between them. They own it between them. And together they had a gross revenue for the year 2022 of 30.15 billion. So look at the difference. We've got Sony here going, we want it big boys, and everyone's like, all right, Sony. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let him in the room.
So yeah. And they obviously own Paramount Pictures, which is their main studio, but they also own Miramax.
Yeah, Miramax, which is a little side note. What the Weinsteins used to own. Used to make
Bob
classy pics.
Yeah, Bob and Naughty Harvey Weinstein.
Bob.
Yeah.
Noted for such films as Shakespeare in Love, won Oscars, Pulp Fiction,
loads of
Scream franchise.
Yeah, also like if it's your thing,
Kill Bill.
Yeah,
there was a big association with Tarantino.
But also Disney used to own Miramax.
It was an arm. Yes, it was an arm of it was like, remember. So like Touchstone Pictures, it was like a Disney thing, but they did all the Touchstone was all the action cinema.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's something that Disney
good studio, Miramax.
I've time really and half for good. I mean,
if you look at the films, they
Bad Man. But
before all that come out, though, if you go back and kind of Google films released by Miramax Studios, a lot of classy pics, mate.
I think basically the stuff that Miramax have and probably still do produce is essentially keeping Paramount on the go.
Yeah.
Realistically, if we're honest.
Yeah.
Considering their streaming service has gone down like a lead, but
Market's got Paramount Plus. I don't know what it's like in the US, but in the UK,
dog shit,
really bad.
Yeah. And you can take that and fucking tell Paramount. If you're listening, Paramount, dog shit.
I'm going to tag them in this one.
Yeah, tag Paramount, dog
shit.
So, yeah, but considerable amount of money, 30-odd billion.
A lot. Well, it's more than treble fucking Sony. Yeah.
And then, after that, we've got Warner Brothers Entertainment, which is owned by the Discovery Channel. Warner Discovery, a merger of the two.
Yeah,
recently, because they weren't going to have it. That was the second choice of buyer. Do we know who the first choice of buyer
was? No,
but
please educate me.
AT&T, the mobile phone company. In America, big, huge.
Yeah, they are,
huge. They've basically got more money than God of AT&T.
Cellular network.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've written that down because I'm not 100% sure as to what AT&T's continuing influence is over Warner.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
If all the decision making's left to Discovery.
And they made in the year 2022 $38.8 billion in revenue. Okay. So obviously they've got, once again, all of your caveats. They've a lot to pay for.
Yes.
And then after that, it is NBC Universal, which is owned by Comcast.
Which is another. I think that's another big. I think the cable provider. I think that's where they are.
NSNBC and stuff like that is a huge news and cable provider and all of that sort of stuff. So obviously they run Universal Pictures. I mean, they own a lot. The Universal Picture. We'll get into who owns what in a bit. And they made $39.2 billion in the year 2022.
But see how now it's only a steady incline. It's not.
Yes, it's been a steady incline for those ones because there is one more that we have to deal with.
I think you all know what we're getting to.
Yeah, and so the last, but most certainly not least, at the moment of the big five is Walt Disney Studios.
Oh, okay.
It's got a small little independent firm. You might not have heard of them.
Yeah, you might not have heard of them, guys.
They own so much as Walt Disney Pictures. They own Disney Animations. They're the obvious ones. But they also own 20th Century Fox.
Which is now 20th Century Studios.
Yeah. Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, Pixar, among many others. I weren't listing them all.
I think we actually work for them, even though we work at separate places.
Yeah, everyone works for them. Yeah, you work for them. Your phone works for them. That cooker works for it. Everyone works for Disney.
Yeah.
Bob Iger is Lord and Master of the world, isn't
he? Is the Mum-Ra of the...
Yeah, he absolutely is.
He's the Mum-Ra of the movie studio world.
And not an analogy that I think would displease him either.
Again, appearance and attitude.
So, yeah, Walt Disney Studios / the Walt Disney Company. Now, I could only find the total revenue for the whole company, as in Walt Disney.
So what they made from the animation, the Marvel, Star Wars stuff.
But it's all the fucking same, isn't it? Yeah. They'll just funnel the money where
it's
the money
all under the
mouse to go
is.
To. Yeah.
The House of Mouse.
The House of Mouse cartoon that when I were a kid called The House of Mouse. They made 82,722,000,000. So that's the level of fucking jump that we've got. That's what we're dealing with. That is the market that we're dealing with. And I'd get like
domination.
Someone who is good at quick maths there.
Quick maths.
Could work out the percentages. But what I'm going to say is that's, and this is an academic term, that's a fuck ton of a percent of the market. Is that in it?
It's ridiculous.
It is a ridiculous amount of the market, considering like
Disney
you
Plus
literally have to add up like 3 of them to get more than Disney.
So that goes to show their dominance of the market space.
To have the same amount of gross revenue. Now, yes, once again, they have everything to pay for and they'll have a lot to pay for, but they're coming out at the end of this with the level of profit that is just unreal. And which also, that's what made me link into the strikes. You could, because Bob Iger essentially said, over the strikes, we're just going to wait them out until they've not got enough money and they have to come back to work.
Listeners, this guy is fucking vile.
He's evil.
Vile.
He's evil. He is literally the emperor. He's
From
the
Star
emperor.
Wars.
He is. I reckon he's got a throne.
100%. He sits on the throne.
He sits on the throne
with Kathleen Kennedy.
And Kevin Feige just there, like,
do my bidding.
What news? Like, do you know what I mean? The man is an evil dictator just waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, 82 billion. And that's the thing. Bob Iger essentially said, we're just going to wait them out until they're so poor they've got to come back to work. And when you've got 82.7 billion, that's billion with a B, to play for, and you can't pay them a decent wage. I'm sorry, and I don't wish to go all socialist workers party, because I'm not like that.
Go on, that's our in.
I'm not like that, but eat shit. You're a cunt. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can pay him a bit more. You've absolutely got the money. So, yeah, I find that absolutely fascinating, the dynamic between these studios. And
I mean, we even looked, didn't we, the other week? We even looked, and he was like, their market share percentage is far larger.
Much larger. They've got something like 30, getting up above 30% market share, and they're getting up towards 40.
And I'm quite interested to find out. I mean, I've not got the figures. You've not got the figures in terms of films released in 2022. What percentage of films were released by them?
Oh, that would have been good.
Would have been interesting. Though.
That would have been a note to self next time we do one of these.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting because. Again, then that would give us a more of an accurate picture in terms of their dominance in the cinema space.
Yeah, but just to
and where the majority of us that are ploughing money into that company.
Because here's the thing: if you're going at pictures at all nowadays, you're going to see more than likely a Disney film. But if it's not a Disney film, it's going to be owned by one of these other ones.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Not Sony though, because he wants to
not Sony. Well, I went to go see Spider-Man now, the new Spider-Man.
No, but that's the animated one.
Yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
or Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. This one.
The next one. Ended on a cliffhanger as well. He said
it did end on a cliffhanger. I went dead happy about the cliffhanger. I liked the film, but I went dead happy about the cliffhanger. But like
I was showing you though, and the audio clip, guys, is on the Secret Session episode that was previously recorded before this. Kraven the Hunter, come on. Oof. Venom, come on.
Yeah, I know. Oh, stop it. Stop it. No one wants to see
Morbius.
But
that's all they've got, Mark. It
is all they've got.
They're feeding off the scraps of their historic deals with Marvel and a handful of Marvel characters.
Yeah, that's it. It's literally all they've got.
I mean, go on. Why don't we start from the bottom to go right? The franchises that they're known for.
Right. The reason we're mentioning franchises, because me and you have discussed this at length. I think the modern cinema scene, and you'll all instantly agree, is dominated not by creatives, not by auteurs, not by just directors in general, even your workaday directors, not even your auteurs. The industry isn't dominated by that. What it's dominated by is franchise acquisition and IP management. Is what I think it is.
We've finally reached the point where it's treated like a business and it's a product. It isn't
it's always been a product, but there used to be more of an attitude of, we're obviously a business, we're there to make money, and while making money we will inevitably make good cinema.
Yes.
Whereas now I think the main drive of it is, I think the creatives working on the actual piece of cinema, they do care.
Yes.
But I think the executives, it's so much
controlled.
it's so controlled and it's so incredibly focused on, we own this IP. What IP can we link it to? You know what I mean? That's Marvel's influence over the cinema scene. What IP can we link it to? And all the other studios are also thinking, what individual IPs have we got that we can reboot or that we can link together and make another shared fucking universe in. So yeah, we'll get into that, because what I've done, I've made a list here of who owns what I've put major franchises.
Yeah.
Now, how I've defined major franchises is essentially stuff that I think has still cinematic legs in this environment. So can be an IP that they can manage and... do you know what I mean? So starting with the little lad, the little boy who owns the square root of fuck all, Sony Pictures. Yeah, and basically even Sony Pictures is a bit of a nonsense. It's basically Columbia Pictures and TriStar.
Yeah. Columbia,
do you know
TriStar,
what I
mean?
Yeah. And basically all they've got is just a foothold in a Bond. The Bond franchise, they distribute them. Yeah, really.
Made the name making comedy films.
They've got the scraps of Marvel Spider-Mans. Literally the scraps.
They're and
even even Spider-Man himself, they have to timeshare him with Disney. That's essentially true. Now. Yeah. That ain't going back. Disney are never going to let go of Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Or even the character,
never. They've got Bob Iger's got him now. He's got him back. He's got him in a little cage next to the throne. Sony have to come and ask him for fucking parental leave, essentially. But aside from that, they've only really got Rambo, what I thought has probably got like some legs that they could do something with.
Reboot, you can see it TV
Ghostbusters.
Series.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
They have got Ghostbusters. I know we love a bit of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we do.
First show of the Vault of Ghostbusters.
Men in Black. Karate Kid, Men in Black.
Oh, I ain't got Men in Black, but that's another one, Men in Black. Yeah, I know, but
all right, yeah.
Do you know
but again, the guys, you can see like they're
it's dreggy. It's this?
Yeah,
it is proper. The only thing that I think has really, really got like legs is Ghostbusters. Out of that small snippet, they do own other stuff. So before you write in and say, "Oh well, actually, they own Bridget Jones's Diary" or something like that, like shut up. Like, but no one's making a new one of them. Like
they did make 3 of them.
They did make 3 of them, and I have a soft spot for Bridget Jones. I'm not saying
one's
that.
Right.
This one's a fairly good film.
Yeah, it is, I'll give you that.
But no one's making another one. That's not IP management.
Coca-Cola used to own them as well, you know.
They used to own Sony.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. And Sony bought them out in '89.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I see. But yeah, they haven't really got a lot to work with. And when we're talking about competing in a franchise dominated market, I don't really think they've got a lot going for them at all.
They haven't.
Like, you went to go see the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Afterlife, when it came out.
And you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think for me it had a good balance of nostalgia and for me, you know, Ghostbusters is my favourite film. So I'll always
quite heavily.
But no, I enjoyed it, mate. Like I say, I enjoyed it.
But yeah, aside from that, they haven't got anything, because like the offshoot dregs of Marvel, who gives a shit about watching Morbius? I'm sorry, but
who wants to see that dog shit? But you know what, as well, mate, they was on their arse and they nearly went bankrupt in the centres as well. So we've seen cycles there.
We are seeing cycles, and we'll see more cycles.
So what studio?
Right, I also want to talk about like Paramount. Now, I didn't do this for Sony because I didn't get that, but Paramount, just as an FYI, their highest grossing film that they've ever released worldwide is Titanic.
Yes.
But the franchises that they own that I thought were noteworthy here are Star Trek, Star Trek's always got some legs.
Star Trek. Yeah, this is true. Obviously, at the minute, Transformers, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. They also work. They've got Tomb Raider, TMNT. Which new one out, and looks quite good.
And I've read reviews saying it's surprisingly a very good turtle.
So go on, work. Just also, if you like a musical, Grease is the word.
And again, there's a handful of absolute stone cold classics there. Godfather, Saturday Night Fever, Grease. All right, not for me, but Top Gun is a it's a very well-followed film. Yeah. And also, we've also done a show on this one, mate, Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Big hit for him.
So, it's not like they've got stuff in the bank, but I think they've not got stuff in the bank as in IPs, but I think they don't necessarily always know what to do with them.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean? Agreed. They're a bit here, there and everywhere.
Agreed.
Like, they tried to reboot Tomb Raider.
Not seen
a couple of years ago. And I didn't mind it. I did not mind it. It wasn't a bad film, but I'm like, you could make so much better of a Tomb Raider film. Because the thing about Tomb Raider is that you could make an adventure film that's fun, but not in a jokey, la ha 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 ha, Indiana Jones or
Isn't that what Uncharted was?
Well, yeah, I know. So they haven't really got the market for it, but do you know what I mean?
Don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. Is essentially what they're saying. TMNT,
don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
you're just making them now.
Yeah, you're just making them, and I really hope TMNT does okay. But he seems to be doing okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Again, I've said to you at the minute, we've got Oppenheimer, TMNT, Indest out. These are things I'm very keen to see on the big screen.
So,
they've got on Friday the 13th as well, which
Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah,
Huge
and
fan.
They will.
Huge fan.
I know you're a big fan. It's not for me. It's not one of mine.
Not for you.
Not for me.
It's a
slasher horror, isn't it?
It's a slasher, yeah. It's good cinema of a certain type.
Yeah. We'll put it there.
We'll
put it there, and you can pick it up, and I'll go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's not there, is it? The next one that I think's important, where they own quite a lot, but again, don't really know what to do with it. We've got Universal, right? And I don't think they know what to do with their franchises.
That studio's pretty much based on the Universal monsters. Do you know what I mean? Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy. Abbott and Costello as well. They had,
They've tried in recent years. Yeah.
Hitchcock.
They have tried in recent years to do that dark universe thing, and Jesus wept.
That Mummy,
put
Jesus
it away.
Christ.
That Mummy. But that's what I'm going to say. They own the Mummy. I've got first Mummy.
We did a show on it.
We did a show. Connections, guys.
Again, as usual, guys. We're always throwing the connections in.
I really enjoyed the first Mummy, and I really enjoyed the second Mummy actually, but. After that, leave it alone.
Yeah, Tomb of the Dragon's Emperor.
But
again, a studio. Go on.
Tremors.
Oh,
fucking love Tremors. Oh, it's so good.
Tremors. We need to do a show on that.
That Tremors. That crying out for another decent reboot.
7 or 8 of them as well. So there is an audience there.
That is crying out for a good, proper reboot. If you're going to compete on an IP level...
Tremors is...
it's Tremors. That's the one, ripe. Universal. It's ripe. It's ready. It's ready.
Why make 6 or 7 of them? And
no, I know.
There's clearly people out there that have...
I fucking love Tremors. First Tremors. Well, it is...
Classic makes classic.
Classic. It's the floor is lava.
Yeah.
Don't get off the floor. It's so good.
Good concept.
If you've never seen
Tremors...
Small,
low-budget film.
Yeah.
Great film.
Kevin Bacon.
As people who listen to the show have got to have seen Tremors.
I know. Hey, we've never done a show.
That's what I've just said to you. We should do a show on Tremors.
We should do a show
really
on Tremors.
Should. I'm sure we've said this is...
We have said it before.
The list.
See, this is why we need to get them on the case. You need to write in and be like, Tremors, because we keep forgetting about fucking Tremors.
How can we though?
I know. Great film. I'm going to go home and watch Tremors.
I've actually got Tremors in 4K. Like I've got it anyway. But, Universal, again, it seems like at some point in time, the studio had their day.
Yeah.
Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Parks. Even now, mate, you know, The Despicable Me. I'm Back to the Futures.
Yeah, I've written Jurassic Park. And just a FYI, their highest grossing film to date is Jurassic World.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, you know my thoughts.
I'm not surprised.
I prefer. I think overall the original trilogy. Of Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3.
Absolutely agree. Jurassic Park. I don't care who fucking argues with me. One of the best films.
Mark's favourite film.
Yeah, one of the best films of all time. I fucking love Jurassic Park. It's a well put together. Holds up. You tell me. You look at that T-Rex stomping out of its cage, and if you say to me it doesn't hold up, I'll be like, lies.
No, it does.
You're a liar.
It's a super film.
Super film. But that's the thing. They don't know what to do with it. They're just wanging out Jurassic Worlds now and leave it alone. Go and figure out what you want to do with it and then do it. So the next big one after this,
again, Fast and the Furious, mate. That makes
Fast and Furious,
hundreds of millions.
Shit, can't be arsed with them. No,
I have a soft spot for
I know you do. This, listeners, is one of our bones of contention in this because Chris has got time and I've got the square root of fucking 0 for time.
Again, it's good cinema of a certain type.
Is it? Yeah. What type? I've turned my brain off totally.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off. I just... Oh, no. It's just about cars and tits. It's about cars and tits.
All right.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. As you're a straight boy, I can see that. It's got a certain titillation value to it.
Fucking hell. No, but I do... Yeah, as you know, Mark, I do have a... Yeah. There's a tiny little piece of my heart where I'm like... If you keep making them, I'll just keep watching them.
To be fair, it is exactly the same with me with the Jurassic Parks. No matter how shit the Jurassic Worlds get, I'll go and watch it. Yeah. Why? Because it's got dinosaurs in it, hasn't it? I like dinosaurs. As you know from the frigging pilot where I spend 20 minutes talking about what a velociraptor actually is, and you're there like, move on now, Mark. Move on.
It was only the pilot.
Right,
next studio. Come on.
Yeah, next studio where I think this is really the only one that's properly in terms of franchises competing with Disney at all.
Oh, okay.
And even then, not
failing,
really.
Yeah.
Failing. They're having a go. Failing absolutely miserably. But yeah, what they own is essentially the DC universe and the DCEU universe. We mustn't mix them up because Warner Brothers are very distinct. Like, these are different things. We're rebooting it now. It's totally different.
Yeah. It's its own. They're trying to do the Marvel. It's its own thing.
Yeah. Forget about the Justice League. I know no one likes it. I didn't.
Do we have to?
We do have to forget about it because it's shit, Chris. Chris, it's shit. Chris, it's shit.
No, again, this is another thing where we do greatly differ because, you know, I think there is merits in Man of Steel, in Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, is the full 4.5 hour version of the Justice League, you know. Wonder Woman 2, dog shit. And even the latest Flash.
Wonder Woman 2's dog shit, but you've never seen Wonder Woman 1, that's the only one where I'm like... Oh, go on then.
Aquaman's okay. I do, you know, I don't dog shit on them all.
You think there's merit, and I don't. Right. Anyway, putting that to one side. But they've rebooted it now, so they've called that... This new lot are just called the DC Universe.
Yes.
Before, they were called the DCEU, and they've made a very distinct cut and line between them.
Way more interconnected this is going to be, apparently.
Yeah, but this is... DC that they own. So yeah, obviously because Disney own Marvel, that's their main rival for that. But they also own
Warner's the Wizard. Was literally started from brothers. It was they were the Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
you know?
They've literally worked 4 of them, I believe.
Yeah, 4. Yeah,
4 of them. But they also own the Wizarding World, which is the Harry Potter franchise.
Yes.
The Conjuring, but they also own Middle Earth, the Middle Earth franchise, which is all the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits.
Lethal Weapons, Dirty Harry's.
Yeah, and they've got The Matrix, and they've got, in terms of our family friendly fare, they've got the Lego franchise.
And they've also known for Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and, you know, they've all got the Looney Tunes, you know.
Yeah, anything to do with...
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Soft spot for the Animaniacs.
I love the Animaniacs.
Do you remember one called...
One of my favourite little cartoons when I was younger were Pinky and the Brain, and that were part of it, yeah. But that's TV, that's little shorts, isn't it? Like... Let's
get back on track.
But
you know, don't forget all these. You know, Hitchcock worked with them for years. James Dean, John Wayne. You know, in the 70s and 80s, mate. Warner Brothers, bang. He was
bang.
They were the fucking dons of cinema in the 70s and 80s. Warner Brothers. You know, like Dirty Harry and fucking Stanley Kubrick worked there, and they were known for the director's studio. Directors went there when the directors wanted to.
I wouldn't do my own thing.
Experiment, yeah.
But nowadays, in this world of franchise management, they've got the stuff, but again, they don't know what they're doing with them. They've no idea.
Well, literally, they've said literally, haven't they? Now they've announced that they're going to reboot the Harry Potter franchise. They've started again with the DC film thing.
Yeah. They had a go with Matrix.
Oh, it's garbage.
Yeah, it's dog shit.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It's fucking bad.
Don't watch it.
Bad. Matrix Resurrect? Oh, no.
Oh, fuck off.
No. You can't resurrect a
corpse. Here's the thing. They're just hitting a brick wall in everything, because I know you'd have never watched them, but the newer Harry Potter stuff, the Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, no.
What a load of old shit. Put it to bed. Put it to bed and think again what you're doing.
While we're on the subject of Warner Bros., right, so I know we said we're not going to venture into TV, but the star of TV of modern times is HBO.
Oh, yeah, and they do, in fact, own HBO as well. They do have a film section.
HBO films, yeah. But a lot of documentaries and stuff are really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, with time and a half for HBO.
100%.
But that, I think, is pretty much the only thing that's keeping them going, because Warner Brothers losing money hand over fist. Losing money. I mean, I know it's Wikipedia, but you go on their Wikipedia page, and out of all of these, they're the only ones with a little downward facing arrow in just losing money. Losing.
Crazy.
I think, here's my prediction, 10 years Warner Brothers will be sold off for parts. It'll go like MGM. It'll go like MGM, so ripped to bits and sold apart.
Yeah.
Massive shame.
And only left with HBO because they know that's the crown jewels.
Yeah, it's going to be ripped apart for bits, because they're making an absolute hash of the DC stuff. They've made an absolute hash of Harry Potter. They're starting to make an absolute hash of the Middle Earth franchise stuff, because, as far as I know, the Rings of Power has only done okay. Realistically,
and I had loads of issues with that.
I had loads of issues with it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't rate it.
Yeah. The last couple of episodes were the most interesting ones out of the bunch.
The only thing that they've got that's an easy make money for them is what they've put as the Monsterverse, which is their Godzilla, the kaiju thing. I know you love them.
I do.
I know you absolutely like. And to be fair, I've got time.
But these new ones are actually all right. You know.
Yeah, but I think that's the only one that they're, as an IP, that they're managing well.
There's another one to come out.
Because this is the thing. If they don't start making money, and by making money they have to make good films, they're going to have to start selling off some of these.
Like you say, I do think maybe the middle of the 90s. And I mean, obviously, I think they had an upturn in fortunes with The Matrix. And, you know, it was like... You just struck gold, didn't they, with it, basically?
Yeah, and as we've said about The Matrix, there's one good one.
Yeah.
Shit from there.
Facts.
There's one good... No, not even one good one. There's one great film. And just mediocre shite from then.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry if you disagree, but you're wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
And so then we come to the big lad, who basically owns nearly every franchise you can think of, except the ones that we've
20th
mentioned.
Century Fox before
the
takeover.
Fox owned plenty, but now Disney own it. So now Disney own everything that you know what Disney always used to own. They're all of their animated canon. You know what I mean? That's from everything from the Lion King to fucking Cinderella. You always know those stuff. But they also, they got the Pirates of the Caribbean, which they crack out every couple of years just to keep people on board, I suppose. I don't know why they're bothering with that. You should have just made 3 and gone, we're done.
That's it, I've told the story.
Told story now. But also everything that Fox used to own. So Avatar, Die Hard, the Alien franchise, Predator franchise, The Omen, Planet of the Apes, X-Men, Fantastic Four.
I think they have got the best pool of things they can pull from.
Well, they have, exactly.
And even the new Predator Prey, fucking really good. Did you watch it? Really good.
I haven't seen it all, but still.
Clever little thing. Good way of using that universe in a different way completely.
Totally. But also all the things that Lucasfilm own. So that's Willow. They made a series of Willow. I have time for the film Willow, by the way. Good little film is Willow.
My youngest daughter is named Willow after that.
It's a good little film is Willow. But obviously all of Star Wars. Now, since they acquired Fox, that even includes the original Star Wars.
Yes.
Because you might not know that George Lucas didn't own the rights to. So you might not know that, listeners. George Lucas didn't actually own the rights to his first to Star Wars, what we now call it.
No, because he took the toy rights over the thing.
Genius move, by the way.
100%.
He did absolutely the right thing. The rest of it
changed the game in terms of products.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, Lucasfilm is basically how we ended up. Not totally, but he's a big part of why we ended up why we are in this world of IP management in terms of cinema, because he kept it so close and then he just sold it at the exact right time.
100% he did.
Do you know what I mean? You can't say that George Lucas is not a canny businessman. You can't say.
He can. He's not a bad director. We've established this.
I have time.
Can't write for shit.
He can't write middles. Can't write middles. He can write a good beginning and he can write a good end. Can't write middles.
Film.
Yeah. But also, all of Indiana Jones, American Graffiti, so that's all of Lucasfilm stuff. And the absolute fucking Leviathan of modern cinema, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, aka Marvel Studios.
Sheesh.
And looking at all this, no one's got anything that can realistically compete against that army.
And I think that is a good way of entering into the next part of the conversation in terms of the current state of cinema. We'll get on to we can talk more about the strike, but in terms of the dominance of a particular type of film for the last 20 fucking years. Yeah. And that's what's ruined fucking cinema. Because you've got a 250 CGI cum shot.
Yeah.
For 2.5 fucking hours.
I think a good case study of this. Now, I haven't actually seen the film, but I know about it. The Indiana Jones film that's just
Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny.
I've completely swerved everything about it because I want to see it for myself.
But I'm not gonna speak about what it's about and stuff. All I want to speak about is just a budget of 300 million. Why? What for? Because you're exactly right. A massive CG spaff the money up the wall. Money is no object.
Yeah. Just
do you know what I mean? Yeah. To quote the guy from Jurassic Park, spared no expense.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally. And I think that is probably the most tragic thing that's happened to cinema in the past 20 years. That is becoming not just. It's not a one-off. That's not a one-off.
It's cinema, mate.
It is cinema.
It's a fact. It's cinema as we know it.
The reason that I think that is so shit because it makes studios risk averse. It makes them not want to make a risky, hard-edged, or even a close to the bone, or even not too funny, or even not too exciting, because they've got to cater for
the middle of the road,
the middle of everybody.
They have to, the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
And we're all victims of it. Every single fucking one of us that goes to watch a Marvel film, a fucking anything that comes under the umbrella of those fuckers.
And they feel like they have to play it safe. Otherwise, there's no way that this absolute leviathan of a film is going to recoup its losses. If they're risky and like all the fucking pearl clutchers, then all of a sudden here, there's a bit of a naughty scene there. You can't go take your, not kids, but young teenagers.
None of them films are rated 12-8 over 12.
Do you know what I mean? No.
That says it all, doesn't it? They want to get as many asses in them seats as possible.
And that, I think, is the absolute tragedy of current cinema.
And do you know what it is as well? I said this to you the other day, and what the problem is we are being force-fed what they want us to watch.
Exactly.
They're
telling us what the audience is.
But in terms of outlets, we have never had as much choice. But what that content is, it's the fucking same dross. It's just being scooped up and fucking chucked down our throats.
Yeah, no,
and we're all, and again, mate, you know, I'm a victim of it. You're a victim of it, and I'll admit it. Do you know what I mean? I do, you know, I do go and put my money in the fucking coffers and go and watch all these films and.
I do. Yeah, shut up and take me money.
We are. We've done it together.
Yeah, it's a collective failing of the audience not to punish studios for their attitude towards us, and their attitude is go and watch it. Go and watch it. Right. And what I think the tragedy, and I know you'll agree with this, mostly because we've discussed it at length, and because the listeners have heard the sort of things that we discuss at length, although I don't think we discussed this. Where are your middle films? Where are your middle... Gone.
All the films we've done shows on, they've all got 30, 40... How many of them have got 30, 40, 50 million budgets? That's a middle film.
Exactly. It's a middle of it.
You know...
All right, we'll adjust for inflation, so nowadays, we'll say 60, 70 mil.
Yeah.
Where's that film?
Don't exist.
Right, just a film. One and done. Tight little screenplay, tight little script. Right. Affordable actors as well. Or maybe one big lad.
One name.
Yeah,
or
one
maybe
name.
Two names.
Because how are up and coming actors supposed to be making their name as well?
We're linking it back to
exactly.
Again.
How are they meant to be making their name if there's no middle budget? How are you going to end up with pull an actress or actor out? How are you going to end up with another Angelina Jolie or Gwyneth Paltrow, like big names, if they've not? Because they started by being in middle budget things, middling budget things. And they weren't immediately cast in fucking a Star Wars film, were they?
But even now with the Netflix thing, you've got a lot of interesting... I think Netflix is seriously going downhill seriously quick as well, to be honest.
Just down the pipe, and we're not really talking about Netflix.
No, we're not. I mean, I don't think that's its own thing, I think. And I think the only reason why it gets mentioned in the same space...
Idea for another special.
I think that'd be interesting. Is because the big boys... are constantly talking about Netflix, and they're just jealous because they got there first with that idea, and now they're just even more jealous because of the dollars that it generates. They don't care about the fucking content. They don't go, how interesting is that content on that platform? They don't give a fuck. It's just another thing to go, I want that dollar.
Does this film need to be made? Most of these films that Disney are cracking out now, I have to say, and I purposefully picks on Disney there, but most of these films, no, not really.
They don't.
There's no real gap in the market. They're just going, hey, you've heard of this before.
Again, the IP, that's all you're using. You're only using
you've heard of this.
The content doesn't matter.
It just tells you, out of all of the... Right, I'm not, generally speaking, a Disney basher, right?
Oh, we are, though.
No, I'm not, because...
No, do you know why? Because we eat it up.
No, a basher is in like I'd dislike it and talk shit about them all the time. I'm not one of those.
Don't we
because
do that?
No, because we've admitted loads of times they've made great films of Walt Disney. Great films.
Facts.
Bit of an evil corporation, yeah, but
100%.
they've made great stuff, iconic stuff have inspired people's not just their childhood, but like filmmakers in general. Yeah. But I think it says a lot what Disney's highest grossing film of all time thus far would be is The Lion King.
Is it?
Yeah, but not the good one.
Oh.
And that's exactly what they mean. They just say, hey, go and watch that. Why? Because we told you you've got to go and watch that.
Prime example, isn't it?
It's a prime example of that's what it is. If I'd have read that, because at first I went The Lion King. When I saw The Lion King, I was like, oh, is it? Oh, nah. And then I'm like, oh, it's that one.
That one.
It's that one. It's the remake.
The pointless one.
The pointless remake. Do you know what I mean? And that's
a really good fucking example of what we're talking about in terms of Disney and the state of cinema, because they have basically created it. The last 20 years. With
exactly.
Thing.
Disney,
and again with the Star Wars, it was just like spin-off TV show, spin-off, fucking one in the entry thing, and it just.
Disney have created the paradigm, essentially, of what modern cinema is, and they've created it in such a way where they've got all the cards, they've got the ace in every single hole. Do you know what I mean? They own all the profitable franchises. They own all the ones that'll make you go, oh, I were a kid when that'll come out, and I'll go and watch it. And I'm not saying that I'm any better than anyone else. I'll go watch it as well. Do
you know what's interesting as well? Like, you've already got those people that were of a certain age when the first crop of the Avengers / Marvel films, and now they're at an age where that's nostalgic to them. How fucking weird is that? How fucking weird is
Disney
that?
have created for himself a self-perpetuating revenue cycle where they can just simply, they don't even have to bring out anything new anymore. No. They don't. They can coast on this for essentially forever.
And we all know that's their plan.
And it is absolutely their plan. And why that links to all of the other studios, because Universal and Warner Brothers, they've all looked at that and they've gone, oh, that's how you make money. But the trouble is, Disney had such a head start on it.
Again, it's all about what's the fucking... They're not interested in the creative process, the artistic process. All they want to know is, when I've got an arse on a seat, how much is this can generate me?
No, I know, exactly. It's down to the bottom line, to the bottom dollar. And that's why I think the budget of films at the moment is absurd, because it's just all about, we need bums on seats.
Runtime as well.
Right.
That is cause and effect.
We have mentioned runtime on every single episode. Honestly, go back. You can hear us talk about runtime and whether we like it or not. Now, I can't look at a film now and think, that's the runtime that film needs. I've not watched a modern film in ages.
So many times.
Have you? I've not looked at a modern film come out recently and gone, that at least you could cut half an hour out of that film.
Say it all.
Do you know what I mean? 3 hours. That Indiana Jones film. 3 hours. I think it's 3 hours. Or getting up there. Oh. Or Batman.
3 hours.
3 hours. What do you need? What do you want? Why 3 hours? What do you want 3 hours for that? Because what a time constraint that you've put on someone. And do you know why that is? It's to pack space in the theatre, essentially. Because if you've got... It's Saturday, right?
Showings.
Yeah, let's do a little thought experiment. There's you and your kid. What used to be, I've got plenty of money. Right, let's go and see a film. Oh, Dad, I want to go see another one. Oh, well, go on then. We'll go and see it. Yeah. Come on, we'll just go straight back in and we'll go and see another one. It can't happen nowadays because that's a 3 hour film. That's basically all of your Saturday day.
We said
gone,
that. We said
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah.
It's all
your
of your
evening gone when we went. You know.
That's your evening gone.
Yeah.
Where is your hour and a half to 2 hour middle budget, not too expensive, doesn't put too much expectation on the audience as well? Because it is another thing, and all studios are doing it. They expect you to have seen at least the film before.
Yeah. Well.
Right. And in the case of Marvel, 7 or 8 films before, not to mention not to mention all of the ancillary media, and it's just a disgusting attack on the consumer or on the people who are watching the thing, because it's not only eating up their time, you're obliging them to go and see the next thing, where it used to be or go and see the previous one, or spend money renting the previous one, otherwise you won't understand what's going on with this one. Now that's always been the case with sequels, but sequels always used to be a self-contained little thing attached to the main body of the film.
You've said it loads of times, like, you just make one good one.
Just make one good one. Just make one good film. I'm absolutely fucking begging you to make
and
one
then we'll
good
see
film.
what happens after that.
So yeah, what I think the state of cinema is at the moment is we're getting less and less for more and more.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean? We're just getting thin gruel for more and more money, more and more expense, more and more time that you have to spend, more and more of your intellectual energy thinking, how does this link into 3 films back where I
And then you've got to remember it then when you watch the next one.
Do you know what I mean? Otherwise you haven't got the full experience. And what they're essentially doing, they're wanting audiences to pick a side. They're wanting you to pick a little franchise that you can hitch your mask to. Basically, this is what happens when you allow businesses to take over corporations to take over cinema and cater exclusively for the worst element of cinema fan base, which is the fanboy wankery of it. And what I mean by that is, it's just any Marvel film is, or at least now, is just made for fanboy wankery. Earlier on in the thing, they used to make a good film.
And children.
Yeah. It's just fanboy wankery. Hey, did you notice this little Easter egg that we put in there?
And then you've got to stay to the very end of
give me your £16.90. Yeah, give me your £16.90, get in the cinema and watch this long, arduous piece of
CGI
which it might be alright, it might not be alright, but you're paid now. Do you know what I mean?
This is true.
And I just think that's a shame.
Well,
really.
I think what we should do is just have a little break in between, and I think we can pick up that point in terms of, has that reached a peak, and is that whole thing on the decline in terms, obviously.
Yeah.
It's the.
Have we passed the point where I think we are just getting to the point where audiences are going. I think we've twigged now. We've certainly twigged, but we watch these things.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Have your average film goer twigged? I think they've just about twigged now.
Well, I think we should pick that up in part 2, guys. So grab a little break, and we'll be back soon. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Bye.